This is not just a dollar. It is not just silver. It is a building, a moment, and a country, all pressed into one piece of metal. In 1939, Canada struck its first commemorative silver dollar. Not to honor a king. Not to celebrate a war. But to mark something quieter and far more important. The rebuilding of democracy itself. This is the story of the 1939 Canadian silver dollar. February 3, 1916. Ottawa was locked in winter. Snow on the ground. Ice in the air. Inside Canada's Parliament buildings, a small fire began in the center block reading room. Within hours, flames tore through the heart of Canadian government. The roof collapsed. Chambers burned. History was reduced to ash. 7 people died that night. But out of the ruins, Canada made a decision. The center block would not simply be replaced. It would be rebuilt stronger, grander, and more symbolic than before. At its center would rise a tower. Not of war, but of peace. Construction began in 1916, even as the First World War raged overseas. Stone by stone, the new parliament took shape. Gothic, monumental, and deliberate. Every detail was meant to say the same thing. Canada endures. In 1927, the Peace Tower was completed. It stood 92 meters tall, housing a carillon and a memorial chamber dedicated to Canadians who died in war. It was not a victory monument. It was a promise. By the late 1930s, the rebuilt Parliament had become the physical symbol of modern Canada. The government wanted to mark its completion in a way that would reach everyone. Not a statue. Not a stamp. A coin. Something ordinary enough to be spent, yet meaningful enough to be saved. Until then, Canadian silver dollars existed only as patterns. None had entered circulation. That changed in 1939. The obverse of the coin features King George VI. This was his first appearance on a Canadian silver dollar. The portrait is calm and restrained. No crown. No armor. No drama. Just a man. The inscription reads Georgiv 6d G, Rex Etind, Imp. George VI, by the grace of God, King and Emperor of India. At a time when Europe stood on the brink of another war, the image feels intentional. Steady. Human. Turn the coin over. What you see is unprecedented. Instead of a coat of arms or symbolic figure, the reverse shows the Parliament buildings themselves, stretching across the coin's surface. The Peace Tower rises at the center, perfectly balanced. Every window, arch, and roofline carefully engraved. Above it all, the Latin motto. Fide Svorm Regnat. He reigns by the faith of his people. Below, simple and direct. Canada. 1939. $1. This was architecture as national identity. The coin was struck in .800 fine silver, weighing 23.33 grams. This was not a cheap token. It was real money, meant to circulate. Over 1 million coins were minted, a large number for the time. And yet, many were saved immediately. People understood this coin was different. It felt important. Only months after the coin's release, Canada entered World War II. Silver was needed for the war effort. Commemorative coinage stopped. The $1,939 would stand alone for years, a quiet reminder of what Canada had hoped for before the world changed again. Peace. Today, this coin holds a special place in Canadian numismatics. It is Canada's first circulating commemorative dollar. One of the most detailed architectural designs ever used on a coin. A bridge between pre-war optimism and wartime reality. Lower-grade examples remain accessible, often showing circulation where from real use. High-grade specimens, with clean fields and sharp tower details, are far scarcer and highly prized. This coin is not about wealth. It is about faith. Not religious faith, but faith in institutions. Faith in rebuilding. Faith that a country can survive fire, war, and loss and still choose peace as its symbol. That is why this coin still matters. Not because it is silver, but because of what it stands for. The Parliament buildings still stand in Ottawa. The Peace Tower still rises over the city. And in collections around the world, this coin continues to tell that story. A nation, rebuilt. A promise, struck in silver. A dollar that carries more than value.